guys, I am Creamy and welcome to my channel. This is my first video on YouTube and I am a little bit nervous. But I hope I can get over it so I can explain the best and help you in the best way possible, because that's why I'm here. So today I want to show you my process from sketch to finish, and even before that. You'll see what I mean in a minute. This tutorial is mostly for digital artists, but there's no problem, it can be applied to traditional artists as well. I use Clip Studio Paint, but still no worries, it can be done with any other program. Without further ado, let's get started. First step is prepping. That's what I meant. Before sketching, we have to prepare. Prepping is very important. You know that before starting to work out, you put your workout clothes on, you do some stretching, some warm-up, etc. The exact same idea applies to drawing. Before jumping into drawing, you need to have the idea in your mind. You need to gather references that will help you throughout the process. References are very important while drawing. Here you can see that I was picking references from Pinterest. I tell every artist I encounter to use them. It's not a shame, it's not cheating. They are there to help you understand what you are actually drawing. For example, you can think you know how to draw a cat because obviously you know how the cat looks, right? But knowing how it looks versus actually drawing it are two different things. And you not having a reference can bring out a lot of frustration whenever you draw and delete and draw again and delete and draw again and so on. So prepping really helps, especially if you're a beginner. Even though I can say if you're a beginner, you can get pretty easily overwhelmed with all those steps. But I'm here to help and try to make this process as comfortable and fun as I can. So, here are 2 points that will help you later on in the drawing process. First is having a clear idea of what you are going to draw. The second one is having references as much as you can find. Maybe compiling a mood board, which is basically a bunch of drawings, pictures that inspire you to create this piece. For searching, I use Pinterest because it's a really huge library of ideas and references. I also use a 3D modeling app for poses, such as Magic Poser or Easy Pose, which I didn't use while drawing this piece, but sometimes I do. Also, sometimes I find interesting poses on lineofaction.com, so I definitely recommend you to check it out. Second step is more prepping. Usually I skip this part and go right into sketching when I'm not drawing a complex piece. You can totally skip those, but the final piece will definitely look so much better with all those included. But don't stress it out. As a beginner, it's very important to take it one step at a time and don't rush it. Drawing is a very long but fun process. It takes a while till you get the basics, and that's totally normal. There are so many subjects you need to learn: colors and values, anatomy, lighting, dynamics, landscapes, clothing, hair. What is important is that you have fun and enjoy your work, and praise yourself for completing a piece, because you deserve it. Anyway, I'll talk about thumbnailing, which I did here, values and composition, very widely because I think it's nice to have those in mind, but not stress out about them so much in the beginning. Thumbnailing means that you think about both values and composition of the final piece and play with different versions of the same idea, like I did here. Values are what dictates how light or dark a color appears. You will work only with black and white here. It's important to know that what is your focal point. Where do you want to guide the viewer and make the elements stand out? For example, if you have a darker setting, you can make the focal point lighter to have contrast, to bring focus on the element. For example, here in my piece, I had the background which was lighter because the light was pointing from the back, and my character was in the shadows. So it gave a nice contrast between my focal point, the character, and the lighting in the back. Composition is the placement of different elements in an artwork. Again, you need to have in mind the focal point and how to make it stand out. Here are some examples of composition that are heavily used in the art community. Third step is sketching. After all that preparation, which some of you will find unnecessarily, you go straight into workout. The sketching phase can be the most enjoyable or the most hated phase. Here comes into action references which will make sketching more enjoyable. If you follow the previous step, you don't need to try a lot of poses till you get the one right, because thumbnailing helps you have a more clearer image of what your drawing will look like. So just follow that guideline from before. If you skip, then, well, RIP. I'm joking. No need to fret about it. You need to sketch a little bit more perhaps. But don't rush it. Make 3 or 4 sketches and go with the one that you love the most. If you have the mood board and the references, it should be easier. Also, I like to make my sketches as much detailed as possible, so it will be easier for me to make the line art afterwards. As you can see, I made like 3 sketches before jumping into the line art. Watch out for tracing. Some artists don't like tracing at all, but I think it's only okay for practice only. If you trace something and then try to eye copy it, it's fine. I recommend eye copying the reference and maybe add or change some things, like adjusting the pose. But if you think you can't do it at all, try tracing it first, then try eye copying again, see if there is improvement. Also, think in big shapes. Don't copy the outline alone. This will help you improve faster than just bluntly copying the outline. If you don't get it right or get frustrated, just stop. Take a break and leave the drawing for 1 or 2 days. This will give you a fresh start and a new perspective on the drawing, and will also help you not getting mad. Fourth step is line art. Make a new layer for this and draw over your sketch. This step can be skipped if line art is not your cup of tea. But for the ones who love line art, just like myself, I have some tips on how to get better line art. First one would be trying to make the strokes as long as you can with one rapid movement. This will not only look better, but will also train your muscle memory. You will probably need to try 2, 3, 4 times before the stroke is perfect or good enough. But hey, 1 point for improvement, right? You can draw a continuous line, but you need to be very steady, or else your lines will look wobbly. Don't do chicken scratches. Don't. Don't make the line art with a bunch of tiny lines that look like chicken scratches. Please, don't do that. Line weight is very important as well. As a general rule, for the things in the back, the line art will be thinner, and for the things in the front, the line art thickens. You can add thicker lines where you think the shadows will be, and thinner lines where you think the light will hit directly. The last tip here is avoid tangents. You don't want your lines to hit tangentially, especially between elements. Try as much as you can to avoid tangents. Sometimes we can't help it, but try your best. The fifth step is colors. Yay! We reached coloring! What can be more fun than this? Anything, really. This is the part that I don't like at all. Maybe because I'm not good at picking colors. I know color theory in, well, theory, but somehow I can't apply it. But I won't talk about color theory here, because that's a whole new video, and I will say this. First, you don't need a lot of colors for your drawing. Choose one dominant color that would be more than 50% of your artwork, and 3 or 4 more. Second, try to play with saturation. To make your focal point stand out, you can leave that color saturated, and the ones that have different percentages of saturation being more desaturated than the focal point. You can make different color schemes and choose the one that appeals the most to you. Have fun and don't forget layers. I usually split background colors versus foreground colors and draw them on separate layers. Keep that in mind. Sixth step is shading and lighting. Make a new layer again and draw on it. For this, you need to think about the direction of the light. In this case, for me, is the backlight and some light from above. This is one of the hardest subjects for beginners, so I'll keep it simple. Choose your direction of the light, think about its color. For example, if it's a sunny day, the color would be warmer. If it's a cloudy day, the color will be cooler. If you have problems in this area, try to find references with the light setting you want to draw. Usually you can easily find head references with the lighting, which is the hardest, but considering the body or other surfaces, just think you are the light. What would you see from the point you are in are the parts that are in the light. Lastly, if you have a cool light, the shadows will be warmer. For example, if you have blue light, your shadows will have an orange or yellow tint, and vice versa. Seventh step is overpainting. This step is not a mandatory one, but sometimes I like to do it. On a new layer, you start overpainting over your whole drawing. Overpainting over? Painting over, I think, right? Anyway, maybe you don't like how the line art is showing. Oh, and by the way, you can totally change your line art color by locking the pixels of the line art layer and draw on top of it with the desired color. I advise to use darker colors. Coming back to overpainting, you can add little details, change other details that you don't like. Overpainting can get you very far. As you can see, I used overpainting a lot here on my drawing because I didn't like how the line art is treating my colors, and the combination of those were a little bit wacky. Overpainting or not, you can do whatever you want as long as it helps you in the process. But be careful to paint on the new layer. The last step is the final touches. Wrapping up your drawing can consist on adding the final details using color dodge tool to add glow or cool effects, or just adjust the brightness, saturation levels on your drawings. Just play with them and see what you like more. Then hit apply and ta-da! You are done, baby. Sign that little baby and show it to the world. Then go to the mirror and praise yourself. Just do it. Start with something like, I really am a great artist, and will only do you good. Okay guys, that was it. I went over them widely because I think each and every one of those steps can be a great video by itself. If you want to get more knowledge about this, check out my sketch to finish guide in the description below. It has detailed step-by-step process regarding this topic. Also, if you want to share your results, post them and tag me on them. I would really love to see your art. Till next time, bye!